Welcome to 10-6 Life Factors. We have as our guest, Cornelius Tawong, alien from Cameroon. Cornelius is going to tell us about his project. He's also going to tell us about the community that he is alien from in Cameroon and the population that he served. Welcome to 10-6 Life Factors, Cornelius.
Hi, 10-6 Life Factor. My name is Cornelius Tawong, and I come from Bambui in Bamenda, Cameroon. So I got to know about 10-6 Life Factor through our ASA volunteer in Germany, through the collaboration with Engagement Global. So I am CEO for Action Lab for Development. And Action Lab for Development was founded in 2016 through volunteers that came on site through our collaboration with an NGO in the United States of America known as Moving Wells. So in 2018, we are officially registered by the government of Cameroon. And we have been working with several volunteers, United Nations online volunteers, ASA volunteers, Moving Wells volunteers. And because of this knowledge, we are accredited to the United Nations Economic and Social Council in 2020. So Action Labs.
That sounds like a very, very good program, especially if it's recognized by the United Nations. And it sounds as if you're mentioning that you do have counterparts in Germany. So it seems as if you are expanding and have a lot of connections globally, yes?
Yes, so we have a lot of connections globally, and we have as mission to support and develop local entrepreneurs and innovators towards the local business ecosystem. So because of the crisis that started in 2016 in our region in Cameroon, the Anglophone Crisis, we also started focusing on the humanitarian aspect. So we also started having projects supporting these entrepreneurs and local innovators that we are affected by the crisis. But our main projects, we are training, education. So we focus more on training the vulnerable population, the youth, on entrepreneurship, so that they can start projects for themselves and better our community.
So Cornelius, you said a lot because you mentioned some of the factors that create deficiency in your community. You mentioned the conflict, and of course the pandemic is one of them. So how many communities are you serving in your area? How many communities are you serving?
So we are serving the Anglophone regions, but specifically we are located in Bambui. Bambui is a town that has more than 17,000 inhabitants. And because of the coming of the University of Bamenda, situated in Bambili, close to Bambui, just a few meters away from Bambui, the population has increased since 2010 tremendously. So we are saving that community. We are saving other communities in English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And also because of the crisis, when we have partners that we cannot receive in the Anglophone community, we move to a safe region like Douala in the Francophone side, where we receive these volunteer and carry out activities with internally displaced youths from the Anglophone crisis.
So you said there's about 70,000 people in that community. How many of them are children that you're actually helping? And you mentioned education as one of the program. Tell us about the children population that you're providing services for. and in terms of the education, what type of education program that you are implementing?
Okay, since 2016, we have been offering education. You have computer studies, entrepreneurship, vocational trades that we offer to students. You have trades like electricity, motor mechanics, you have carpentry. So in all of these, since 2016, we have been able to train more than 700 trainees in most of these trades.
That's actually very good. So do you have a physical facility that you accommodate these children, and how do you recruit them into the program? How do you get go about it? Go ahead.
Because Action Lab started at a vocational training center that is officially recognized by the government, Toby Vision Computers Vocational Training Institute. So we were using this Toby Vision Computers Training Institute to train all of these trainees. And we have a site that we acquired that we want to build our permanent campus for Action Lab on. So we have been using the site of Toby Vision Computers.
Very good. And so you are generally staffed by volunteers, or are they paid workers?
We have 4 full-time paid workers and 8 part-timers. Then we also are supported by volunteers, national and international volunteers.
Okay, so I guess throughout the year you have people coming in and they're what, teachers? They are...
Yeah, before the crisis we had people coming in and so on, but with the coming of the crisis, the Anglophone crisis and the pandemic, the corona virus, we hardly have people now coming to support us like before.
Okay, so I know you're mentioning the Anglophone crisis. I'm wondering if I'm saying it correctly. And this is like a civil conflict in the.
Sorry? Hello. Cameroon is a bicultural country. So Cameroon was colonized by France. Part of Cameroon was colonized by France and part by the British. So the two entities, they came, British Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon, they came together in 1961 to form the United Republic of Cameroon. So Anglophone Cameroon is that part that was colonized by Britain.
And so as a result, there's a conflict between which two groups?
So the Anglophones, the English-speaking part of Cameroon that was colonized by Britain, they started complaining that they are being marginalized by the majority Francophone Cameroon. So in 2016, teachers and lawyers started with a strike that in 2017 turned into an arms conflict.
Okay. And as a result, that's why many communities are affected as a result of all of that. Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me more now about the COVID. I know, of course, your focus is on education, and you mentioned about training, job training programs or vocational training programs. First, I want you to tell me, how has COVID impacted your mission?
Yeah, when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, it affected a lot of people in the community. There was a lot of fear, coupled to the fact that the COVID was coming to meet us in a war, because we were having already an arms conflict that separatist fighters, we are fighting and attacking regular government forces. So with the coming of the COVID pandemic, situation was more aggravated. And the government of Cameroon did a lot with information and so on. So because in the beginning, people were too afraid, and later on now, when people were sensitized, they had the information about COVID and so on, the fear disappeared and it was not affecting people as much as the war. So what really affected people is the war that was ongoing.
That's interesting. So it did not necessarily, people did not necessarily stop coming to your program. The students, the young people, or even adults. I'm thinking some of the job training program are for adults as well, yes?
Yeah, there were measures that were taken by government, several measures that were taken by government. Schools were suspended for some time and so on. So we respected all of these. And after the government measures were relaxed, we continued with the programs. But what is affecting our program mostly is that when there is confrontation between separatist fighters and the regular army, there is shooting and so on, we have to stay at home. And sometimes when there is a prolonged shutdown, lockdown of the town declared by separatist fighters, we have to stay at home. That's why we came up with a project requesting for donations so that we can have smart devices, laptops, maybe notebooks, and so that we can continue learning online when there are prolonged lockdowns declared on us by separatist fighters.
Very, very interesting. So yeah, so that was my next question about the needs, because currently you have an ongoing fundraising project. It's posted on Instagram, and it's also posted to your website. So tell us about that, because you're looking for fund for your program. One of your biggest concerns is also bandwidth service, the slow internet service that plague just even offering any kind of online activities that is continuing the program online. So one, your participants do not have the smart devices, and two, some of them may not necessarily have internet, wireless services, internet services in order to even access whatever it is that is online, yes?
Yeah, we designed a program with a German state organization, Engagement Global. So we are planning that through their participants, through volunteers that we got through this organization, if they were able to set up a fundraising campaign and raise money close to about 16,000 euros, we could buy about 50 laptops, and our trainees can use this online. Then access to the internet would be provided by the organization, Action Lab. But unfortunately, we just closed the fundraising campaign, and we were able to raise only funds that can enable us to get a single laptop. So we will still be looking for volunteers who can help us in the same process. And equally, the German NGO, the volunteers that came in through that organization, they are preparing materials that we were supposed to have seminars and workshops online, and they are equally preparing a textbook, a manual, which our trainees will use offline. So we will print, and these trainees will use offline to learn different topics like social entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and other aspects that we are supposed to learn.
So what happened to the program? And it's only one laptop so far. Doesn't seem like a generous effort there. So what has curtailed the fundraising effort? Why, is it that something happened? Is it as a result of the conflict, as a result of the COVID, where you're not able to actively, kind of do some online fundraising? What is going on there?
Now, fundraising platforms are restricted in Africa, and we were only able to do that through our volunteer, Josephine Motes, who contacted you initially through Instagram. So the fundraising was not very successful, we believe, because she did not have an audience that was supportive to the initiative, because fundraising succeeds when the fundraiser has an audience that is supportive, an audience that is capable of donating. And also, we are a young organization who have fully supported in the past when our educational program, Toby Vision Computers, was functional and supporting our model. So we do not yet have partners that can support. We are still growing, and we hope that eventually when we'll get partners, maybe programs like that can become more successful.
So aside from Instagram, and I know you have a small website link, what other online platform or social media sites are you on in terms of building partnerships?
No, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, and we are on LinkedIn. And equally, we have a website. It's just that the hosting is down, the domain name is still up, and eventually we will bring back we back up the website. Eventually, we will host it back again.
So the hosting, is it because it's unpaid, or is it because of internet outages? Which is it?
The hosting is because it is unpaid. That's why it was brought down. So when we will pay, the hosting will be brought back. So our website will come back.
Okay, good. So you mentioned these partners in Germany, another NGO that is actually helping. You also mentioned that your organization is recognized by the Cameroon government. Is there any subsidy that is given from the government to you? I know you mentioned that the NGOs, like in Germany, they're creating materials and textbooks and in order to teach the specific enrichment programs. But what is it exactly that the Cameroon government is doing, or even not so much the larger government, but even the local government is doing to help you?
Yeah, the Cameroon government is supposed to give us subvention through the Ministry of Social Affairs, but because of the crisis now, because of the conflict which I mentioned, because of the war, things are not formal again. For example, like the vocational trades that our trainees undertake, we are supposed to write official exams that are evaluated by the government at the end of certain trades and certain courses. But since things are informal now, things are not going formally because of this disruption as a result of the war. So we are only managing, and we are not having the support that we would have had when things were normal.
So what is happening in the meantime? Because say, for example, give me the age range of the youth in the program and then the age range of the adults in the program. Tell us about them, and then their economic statuses. What's the age range that you're working with?
We are working with students that are between 15 years to 25 years, and who are carrying trades that sometimes they can create their projects or they can get employment. Then for other trades like computer studies, when you have people who are 25 and above, who, because maybe we are not able to study the ICTs, to study computers, they come to us for short courses to train on some of these very important skills that they will need in their lives. But our formal programs will take youth between 15 to 25 years and train them so that they can become employable.
So while this program is going on, or say it is at times at a standstill, or say at a low pace because you do not have the wireless access, you do not have the funding, what are these individuals doing in the meantime?
There are communication companies in Cameroon. You have like MTN, you have Orange, and they are providing internet services. So we subscribe through these communication companies to get connected to the internet. So we can use wireless, we can use modems and use other methods. So the choice will depend on the activity that we are doing. So if we are live streaming, if we can get big data, we can pay for more data, we can subscribe on a different platform for training, we subscribe for depending on the task that we do, we subscribe to a different data bundle.
Okay. When these individuals are not in your program, what else are they doing? Are some enrolled in other type of, vocational activities, or they're just maybe functioning? What are some of the other capabilities that they have in terms of skills? Are they farmers? Are they, carpenters?
Our economy is basically agricultural. So our main activity. So when we are not in this program, we are doing agriculture. So like the program that we currently plan to do, that we have not had laptops, that these trainees could understand how to market their agricultural products if they can learn how to digital marketing, and they can learn soft skills. So when we are not in these programs, we are doing agriculture.
So what is missing then? So we are aware then that the financial capacity is very slim. And are there job opportunities, say after they complete the program? Are there job opportunities for them? And tell us some of the outcomes in the past where, some type of success has been made with maybe a group. I mean, it's a cohort of individuals where they participate for 1 year, then they move on, or they participate for 6 months and they move on. Tell us the range of participation in terms of dates and what opportunities lie ahead for them, for even the ones that may have completed the program in the past. Tell us about that.
In the past, out of the more than 700 trainees that completed the program, 80% of them we are employed in different places, and 20% created their own projects. So of the graphic designers, computer secretaries, those we train in electricity and all of that graduated, some were recruited by the government, some created their small businesses, some who did computing, they created computer booths to offer computer services around the university, some working with local based organization, microfinances. So we can say that of those that we train, 80% we are successfully recruited or successfully gained employment, and about 20% created their own little projects.
Well, that sounds like, something that deserves a round of applause, because it sounds like you actually have accomplished a lot with the little that you've had so far. And I'm sure if you have the resources in place that you're looking for, imagine the success that you'll have with your community. So
yeah, sure.
What are you pointed some of the concerns in terms of the conflict, the COVID, the lack of funding, and so on. Tell us what it's like with the participants. Are they consistent? Are they persistent in completing the project? Or do you have to find other ways to keep them engaged in the program?
No, the participants, they are persistent and they are consistent. Only these factors that are affecting them, and with the crisis, even the teachers, there is nothing, there is unpredictability. So you can get up one morning and there is a conflict, there is shooting and so on, and you may not continue with your project. And even with government services, nothing is predictable. So we are in an insecure environment. So until things come to normal, until security comes back, before we can do things like we used to do in the past.
So there's so many factors that are against you, despite the resilience of you as the leader within this organization and the participants themselves trying to make something of their lives despite all the atrocities that's going on around them.
Yes,
Tell us the male to female ratio in your program. Do you have more male or female that you serve? And how are their needs different?
Yeah, in the program, I think that we have more females than males, because most of the females, they will prefer to learn things like computer studies, where they will save in microfinances, they save in NGOs and community-based organizations. So in most of the soft skills, they are looked upon to be like something that is very good for women. So we have men mostly in things like carpentry and electricity, and then computer hardware. But there are, in a majority of our trainees have been females.
Well, that's interesting. And so what do you think contribute to that difference? Why you have more females from between 15 and 25
now
seeking out your services?
I think that what contributed to this is the nature of the programs that we were offering, because most of the programs that we were offering in the community sees them as programs for women. But we will be bringing in also more programs for that seen in the community as for men. And also we have been encouraging inclusiveness, diversity and inclusiveness. So we are even planning that we will bring in volunteers who can move in the community and talk about these issues, inclusiveness at work, inclusiveness in the community.
So with the programs, is it that these participants must travel, say, okay, tell me the proximity of where they live in terms of the program location.
Okay, the program is located precisely at Four Corners, Bamboo. And then you have trainees who are living at My 10, some live around the palace, some live in Bafut, some live in Bambili, some live in My 10. So they will have to take a motorcycle to come to the program. Some will have to come by taxi, and a few others take to come to the program.
And so this probably, in terms of commute, are you saying like 15 minutes to 30 minutes or more or less?
In terms of commuting, if it is trekking, it can be 30 minutes trekking. But if it is in terms of taking a motorcycle, taking a taxi, is less than 30 minutes.
Okay. So clearly, poverty is one of the big picture factor here. Describe the journey of a young Cameroon boy or girl, you know, being born into poverty and what they have to encounter. I mean, we already hear about the wars, we hear, you know, the clearly poverty and lack of education. Tell us, are they being born into single-family homes, two-parent family homes, born to parents who are unemployed or any form of instability in the home. Describe the journey of a Cameroon boy or girl to the point where they are now seeking out your services.
Now, the journey of a Cameroon boy or girl born into maybe a home that is not well-to-do will be like this when they go through, because primary education is compulsory. After primary education, if they do not have sponsorship into secondary, general or secondary technical, when they enroll in a trade with us, they may learn a trade for 12 months officially. If they have some sponsorship, so if somebody sponsors them, they do a trade. For example, somebody who comes to do computer studies with Action Lab for Development, after 12 months is certified. And this person will have to proceed to look for a job, either with a microfinance or create some small computer booth if the parents can support to buy something like a photocopier, a printer, to raise capital. Or when they raise capital, they can begin to develop the business. Or if they get this training, they completely will look for employment and they work.
So when you say sponsorship, are you talking about in terms of financial sponsor to move from primary education to secondary education? And you mentioned the two forms of secondary education. Are you saying that families need money to go beyond the basic education that government provides?
Yes. When I talk about sponsorship, I'm talking about the finance.
And so your program is it offered free of cost, or there's a fee-based or sliding scale based to it?
Now, what the government says primary education is free, is free and is compulsory, but you still have to pay some levies, you still have to buy books and so on. So they still need finance to go through all of this.
So what about your program? Does it offer, is it offered for free, or is it at a reduced cost?
Our program is offered for free at Action Lab for Development and at a cost for our partner institution, Toby Vision Computers. So at Action Lab for Development, it is not actually for free, because we have people who pay the teachers, who sponsor those who come into this program. So this program is at a cost, but this cost is borne by our other partners, private individuals who support the running of the organization.
Okay, so your program, is it like, how long, and you may have said this before, but can you remind us, how long is your program? How many months of training, or it depends? Is it consistently where you say a program runs for 6 months, or you have different programs going at a different time range?
The official program that is set by the government, where students take a certificate and have official diploma from the government, which they can use to get employment everywhere, is 12 months. But we also have programs that will run for unofficial and short programs that can run for 9 months, for 6 months, and 3 months. But the official program that will...
Go ahead.
The official program as prescribed by the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training, that is the supervisor of the courses and the curriculum that we do, is 12 months.
So you're saying that so far, you say many of your programs or all of your programs are oversighted by the government in terms of credited, where it is, say, certified for you to offer the program, and it is recognized by any businesses or trade for this participant now to use for their livelihood. That's what you're saying?
Yes. Because when students come to the program, they need orientation. Why are they coming into the program? Are they coming into the program because they will want employment with the state, because they will want employment with this, so they will need some certification at the end? Are they coming into the program because they just want skills to operate their own agricultural projects and so on? So depending on why they are coming into the program, that's why when we make the selection and choices.
Okay, very good. How far are these communities from, say, the city, like the main epic center of Cameroon? Are these rural, very rural, or are they what we call in the US inner cities? Describe the distance from, say, the epic center where you have more commercial districts for, you know, for these families. Go ahead.
Now, I earlier mentioned that Bambui is situated some 10 kilometers away from the main city, Bamenda. Okay. So now in our community now in Bambui, you have to the east, I may not have the geography very correct, you have to the east, you have another village, Babanki, Tungo, you have Bambili, you have Bafut, then you have small Babanki. So there are other villages, you have Fingi that are surrounding this Bambui, which is in Tuba subdivision. So our trainees come from these villages that surround Bambui. But from Bambui to the main city, it is 10 kilometers.
Okay, sounds good. So do you, so let me ask you in terms of, say you're seeking volunteers, the fact that you do have online programs. So it means that volunteers can come from any part of the world. They can offer whatever training or educational needs to your participants, deliver it using one of the online platform. Are you concerned about any language barrier between, say, someone's from the US wanting to offer their services to teach or train your group, you know, one of your group online? Is English one of the main languages in Cameroon? Yes.
Yeah, in our region, English is the main language. So when we get any trainer, we are looking for the trainer whose first language is English, and the second could be Pidgin English, because although Cameroon is bilingual, we are purely Anglo. Most of our schools are purely Anglo-Saxon.
Okay, okay. And so part of the advocacy then, that, for example, if people ask me about this and I say, well, whatever you can do to help, like teaching a course, what are some areas that you're seeking, aside from the financial support, the laptop that you need, money to pay for, you know, internet access and so on? What type of expert area are you seeking for the person to have in order to teach in a particular program in your at Action Lab?
Okay, at Action Lab, we are looking for people that have like graphic designers, those that can train people in designing computer graphics. We are looking for people that can train people in apps development. They may have some other qualification, maybe a bachelor degree plus these skills and experience. We're looking for those who can train people in carpentry, and we are also thinking about woodwork. Then we are looking for people who can train in computer maintenance and repairs. We are looking for people who can train people in secretaryship. so that we can have administrative secretaries were trained in our center. We are looking for people who can also train in motor mechanics. We are thinking of that in the future because the equipment to set up that department are expensive. So if we eventually set that in the future, we will have that. Also, we are thinking about those who can train in agro-pastoral because crop production, animal rearing, and so on. So when they have these skills, and if they have a qualification or a diploma or a bachelor degree plus this qualification, those are the type of people we are looking for.
And it's the commitment, as you say, would be about 6 months or so. Have you ever reached out to, say, universities in the US or even in England to say, because there's always summer programs where people are looking for international internships where they can volunteer in programs like yours. Have you thought about looking into those type of things? And the other part of that would be if, for example, you do seek out, opportunities through higher education here, where students are looking for, externships to on a global level. What is it, aside from offering it online, is it safe for them to travel to your community based on all the things that you mentioned?
Yeah, in this moment, it is not safe for most of the volunteers and the interns to travel to our community. But we hope that normalcy will come and they can travel. And the partner organization that we have in the USA, they are called Moving Worlds. And they are people that send experts who are on sabbatical. So some can come on site for 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So, and these experts are people who should be able to pay their flight ticket because we support only local accommodation and local food. So they should be able to pay their flight ticket to Cameroon.
Could you repeat the name of the partnership in the US? What's the name of it?
Moving Worlds. Moving Worlds.
And that's where some of your volunteers would come from, especially as you said, if they're on sabbatical. Yes. Very good. Very good. Yes. And so yes. I appreciate you sharing the safety issues, about the safety concerns, because if, for example, someone is watching this video and is interested, then they would say, well, they'll hop for the online opportunity to offer training that way versus having to travel to your community, especially in this time of not just the pandemic, but the upheaval among the different groups. Yes?
Now, in this moment of the crisis, what we are doing is that when we have a volunteer, we can move out of our region and move to a region where it is safe, to the Francophone part of Cameroon where it is safe, and we do the training there. So that is what we are doing in this moment for online volunteers, for on-site volunteers, until when there will be total security. Because at this time, if a volunteer comes into our city, he or she may be kidnapped and things like that. So we do not want, because we think that security should be the first thing when volunteers are coming to our program.
So I have 2 more questions for you, because we're coming close to the end of our interview. And you mentioned something that is very important. You said that your partner, your NGO partner in Germany, for example, they are creating curriculum for you to use. Is that the same thing for the partner in the US? Are they creating curriculum, are they developing curriculum as well, so they can send it to you for you to use to, kind of teach the program?
No, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. The partner in Germany, they send they recruit like professionals on internship, and they pay their flight tickets and accommodation to come on site and train us on different topics that we identify. So normally we design a project with them in October, and in the following year, they select those who apply to come to the project. And in July, they may send participants to Cameroon. This time, the 3 volunteers that we were working with, the 3 participants, could not come to Cameroon because of COVID-19.
Right.
We hope that in the next July, if the restrictions are no more there, we will be having 2 interns from that organization in Germany on site in Cameroon. And United Nations Volunteers online platform, where we had volunteers supporting us virtually.
Okay, sounds good. So in other words, then you would welcome if someone is willing to volunteer in their expert area, you would welcome any form of curriculum material they have to train. However, this must be consistent with the expectation or the requirements of the Cameroon government or the policy, yes?
Yeah, when we have a need, when we identify that, okay, we want to train women in this, and this is what we have identified, we inform the volunteers to also study Cameroon so that the content of what they are doing should match with the reality in Cameroon. So they do not just design the curriculum or design some text for us, they design it and make sure it aligns with the situation in Cameroon.
So if people want to, I don't know, I'm not sure on your Instagram account, but if people want to donate to you, where do they go to do that?
Now, like I told you, things like PayPal is restricted in Cameroon. Payment platforms are restricted in Africa, so we do not get that. So if people want to donate to us, they can donate, but they can do wire transfer to ACLAB corporate account.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there a particular, I mean, it's aside from all this, but is there a particular reason why these platforms are restricted? Is it because it's exploited or what?
We do not know why these platforms are restricted, whether they are restricted by our governments or by the platform manufacturers themselves. We do not know.
So it would be wire transfer. So the best way for them, anyone to go ahead.
So that's why when we are doing a fundraising, we go through a volunteer who uses his or her PayPal. When he he or she collects the donation, then she can now wire to our corporate account. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes very good sense. So your email.
But we cannot.
Go ahead.
We cannot create a fundraising online on our own because we do not have, we are not allowed to do that in Africa here.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. So tell us, so you have the Instagram and your email. Do you want to share your email address, or should we just simply tell people to go to your Instagram account?
Yeah, the email address should be shared. The Facebook page should be shared. The website should be shared because it will be coming up when we pay the hosting. So we think that everything about us can be shared.
Okay. So you have a quote on your Instagram. It says, "Children will rise up, the potential that you see in them, and providing young people with proper education is a worthwhile cause." I absolutely agree with this quote and this mission of educating the youth. And it sounds to me a very wonderful project and it's very significant and needed that you're doing. And I applaud you for all this work and the different pieces, as you said, that has to be in place in order to get it off the ground. So whatever I can do from my hand in sending out the word that, you know, you are looking for partnership, you're looking for resources, you're looking for any kind of, you know, volunteers or people who are willing to provide their services, I will do that my best from this end, because again, I think we're both in the business of trying to, you know, do advocacy work, action advocacy, and helping children especially. And so I welcome any opportunity to you know, to make an appeal to anyone that is interested. So thank you so much, Cornelius. I don't know if you have any parting words for us before we end.
Thank you so much as well. I think that it is thanks so much to Josephine who made the initial contact, and I think you have been very patient. Yesterday, there was no electricity in Cameroon because sometimes we have our own challenges. I do not know how, if I will be able to paint the real picture for you to get the picture of Cameroon. But I just hope that you will be, because you will be able to perceive in your own way, but to perceive exactly in the way that I painted. I'm not sure if you will get it, because we are in Africa, we have our challenges, but there are a lot of potential in the Africans that we hope to see develop in the midst of all of this. And we think that one of the important ways to do this is, first of all, to change the mindsets. And when the mindsets of the young people are changed, they can do really, really great things. So I thank you so much for organizing this meeting today. And I'm very grateful for your program as well. And I hope that we will keep in touch.
Definitely. And, you know, we're all on the same page here. You paint a very good picture, very informative, very detailed. And so for anyone who watched this video, they will get some great insight into, you know, what your mission is about, what your needs are, and how they can help. So you've actually provided us with a lot of information. And I do get a great picture of the people that, you know, sounds like a resilient group of individuals that you're trying to serve, despite all these deficits around them, you know, the war, the pandemic, poverty, and just the lack of opportunities. And so the fact that you are able to create this vision where you can, you know, create impact changes in the community, it's a ray of sunlight. Okay, so I do get the picture, and thank you for your good work. Take care then, Cornelius.
Welcome, welcome.
Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye-bye.